Hey there, this is LaQuita with QuitaBugHandmaids.com, and thank you so much for joining me today for another Stampin' Up! Tutorial. Today's project features the Pop of Paradise stamp set. This is in our current 2017-18 annual catalog. Really great stamp set. We're going to use this hello sentiment right here. And for today's project, we're also using the blends, the new Stampin' Blends markers, and just so you know ahead of time, I am using I've got the color lifter here just in case I make any mistakes on today's project. I can just lift those right out, love that. And then I've got both shades of Old Olive, Pool Party, and Calypso Coral. So today I am sharing with you my November Team Make and Take. I love every single thing about this card. I think this card is gorgeous. So every month I have a live team meeting with my team of Quita Bug Stampers, and in that, or during that live team meeting, I create a project with them, and then I also send them the consumable supplies to create the exact same project. So it's just something really fun. It gives us the chance to stamp together since we are so spread out around the United States. It's a way that we can get together and craft and still feel connected. So I love being able to do that with them. So this is the project that we created in November, so I thought I would share that with you all. So let's go ahead and get coloring. All right, so I'm gonna take this piece of Whisper White cardstock here, and I wanna go ahead and stamp my hello before I get into the coloring with my blends. So I'm just going to ink this up, and I'm using my Memento Tuxedo Black ink, and I'll just stamp that right there, and press and hold, allow it to dry. Or not allow it to dry. I don't know why I said that. Allow it to absorb is the word that I was thinking I was saying. Okay, so we've got that there. So I'm gonna let this dry now, and then we'll punch this out in a little bit. So you might be wondering where I got this piece of designer paper. So I was so excited for our make and take to use this designer paper. This is the Just Add Color Specialty Designer Series paper. This is in our current annual catalog, and if you have the Stampin' Blends, or if you have just our regular Stampin' Write markers, this is great paper to invest in getting, because all of the papers, let me pull it out here. You have just a bunch of, line art images, and you can go in and color them. These are single-sided sheets, but you get 2 of each 12 by 12 sheet, and you can go in and color these any way that you'd like. So it's so much fun. It's just like having a coloring book. It's such a great set for markers and for coloring, and you could even cut these down to make a bunch of cards to share with friends, and you guys could all get together and color the cards together. There's a lot of different ways to make this fun. So there's 2 of each. All right, so remember, when you're using your Stampin' Blends, they are alcohol based and they will bleed through your cardstock. So make sure that you protect your work surface so that you don't get ink on your desk or whatever you're working on. So I've just got some copy paper here in the back. So I am going to get my blends out and just start really deciding how I want to color everything. So I think I actually have discovered that I like starting with the dark shade and then applying the light shade. I thought I preferred it the other way before. And, it's really up to you how you do it. There's no right or wrong way, but I've discovered that this is what I like to do. So I'm gonna go ahead and just kind of start coloring. So I just want to trace some of these lines. It doesn't have to be perfect. That's the beauty of this. I think I also want this one to be. There we go. Then I'll come in with my light Old Olive and blend all of that out. Okay, so I've just gone in and put a little bit more dark Old Olive on some of these other leaves. I'm just going to fill in, blend it out with the lighter shade. Okay, so I just kind of went out of the lines just a little bit on this leaf, so I'm just using my color lifter to get in there and get those little bits out. There we go. Okay, so now I'm just going in with my dark shade of Calypso Coral, and I'm just going to fill in all of the flowers and leaves that I want to be colored with my Calypso Coral. So now I'm coming in with that lighter shade of Calypso Coral and just coloring in all of these images. Okay, so I think I've got all of my Calypso Coral finished. So now I'm going to come in with that darker shade of Pool Party and add in some dark bits of color. And now just go in with my lighter shade and fill these images in. Blend it all out. No right or wrong way to do this. And I just add the dark bit wherever I want to, really. It's up to you. You don't have to do anything in particular. Okay, so there is all of my coloring complete. I absolutely love it. That Pool Party just really brightens the whole design up. All right, so now I'm gonna take this piece and go ahead and adhere it to my basic black piece of cardstock. So this is cut at 3 inches by 4 inches, and if you cut your designer paper at 3 by 4 inches, you actually can get 12 of these out of one 12 by 12 sheet. So it's a really great way to save, or not save paper, but to use it in a cost-effective way. I think I need to fix this up a little bit more. Do that. Then I'm going to take my Pool Party baker's twine here, fold it in half. This is about 14 inches of baker's twine, and I'm going to take this one strand here and just wrap it around right about there. Looks good. And trim it down. Now just add some dimensionals to the back of this layer and pop it up. All right, so I've got my dimensionals on the back of this layer, and I've taken all of the backings off. So I'm gonna add this to my card base. I've got a piece of Pool Party cardstock here for the card base. This is a vertical folding card. I love cards that open this way. And this cardstock is cut at 4 1/4 inches by 11 inches, and I have scored it at 5 1/2 inches. So I'm just gonna go ahead and add this layer onto my card, and I want it to be centered from top to bottom, but I want it off to the left-hand side of my card front, so right about there. Okay, so I think that looks pretty good. So now I'm gonna bring in my 1.5 inch circle punch and just punch out my sentiment. And I chose the 1.5 because I wanted that little white border around the edge of my hello. Just flip that over and add adhesive onto the left side of the sentiment, and then I use the leaf punch to punch out a piece of old olive cardstock, and I'm just going to pop this right behind, I guess right about there, and we'll put this, I want it to hang off the edge just a little bit. Put this right there on the card. I think that looks pretty good. So now I've got that little piece that was left over of my twine. I'm just going to take that, loop it under, and tie a quick little bow. Okay, and once you have your bow how you like it, just trim those ends just a little bit. That looks good. All right, and so that finishes up the card. I love this card, and it's really quick and easy to put together once you get coloring. And then, of course, you know, I had to decorate my envelope. So I used the two leaf images that come in that Pop of Paradise stamp set, and I stamped the large leaf. I stamped it off in Old Olive, and then I stamped the Old Olive full strength in the smaller leaf. And so there is the matching envelope. I love how this card turned out. All right, so thanks so much for joining me today, you guys. I hope that you enjoyed this tutorial. Remember, you can purchase any of the supplies that you saw me use today by heading on over to today's coordinating blog post. I've linked to that video blog post just below the video in the description notes. You can also find a full list of the supplies in the video description, and there are clickable links that will take you straight to my online Stampin' Up! Store. And if you've ever thought about joining Stampin' Up!, now is the perfect time. You can pre-order from our new occasions catalog and start pre-earning free celebration items. So if you're interested in joining my team of Quita Bug Stampers, we would love to have you. I'll also have a link over on today's blog post that has more details about joining my team. So thanks again, you guys, and I will be back soon with another tutorial. Bye now.